Like, if you're on that fucking grind, like, you gotta pretty much dedicate like all of your time to it if you like work a fucking
and
normal
sacrifice
life.
some relationships.
Oh, dude,
too,
I've sacrificed like everything.
Yeah,
like I don't.
Romantic.
Fuck, I even cut off my dad for this stuff just because like he would like screw with my mindset. You know what I mean? Cut him out.
Sometimes that's what you have to do. I mean, I'm glad I've never had that. Like, I definitely don't have to cut out my family. Like,
do you think that's a little too selfish, though?
No,
like
because like
I agree with you. Like, do what you gotta do to make it a success. But I feel like when it comes to parents, I mean, and I don't know the relationship with you and your dad. Maybe like it hasn't been rocky or whatever.
So like,
I'll let you talk about that. But I do think there's at some point like it's easy to get way too selfish.
So like
when you get obsessed with trying to make it.
Well, no, because it wasn't even like to do with that. It was more on the lines of like when I was trying to just like free my mind and like you know, of anxiety and like being depressed and whatnot. Because like my relationship with my dad, like it was scratchy since I was like a little kid, and like you know, in my eyes, it's like I feel like you shouldn't, like when you're in a relationship with a parent, like they're your parent, right? So like you shouldn't have to beg for their attention and shit at the end of the day. And like it just got to the point where like, dude, if you want to call me once a year, like, you know, you don't want to be in my life. You know what I mean? So I was like, fuck it, might as well just cut it off. And I should have done it a long time ago.
I don't know. I feel like it's not really like that selfish, because like, say whether like for me, one of the things, like one of the longest relationships I had, we had to split up because it basically like it boiled, like the more successful Thread got, the more like jealous that she got, basically. What it came down to, obviously, like we both had problems. I definitely had problems.
Jealous
like, it wasn't
of success, or jealous that you're spending more time with Thread than you are with her?
It probably, it was kind of like, it was a little bit of all of it, and also too like all the attention I would get, and because like at the time too, I was like losing a bunch of weight, looking better and everything,
becoming the man.
And then so also she would also like get jealous too if like just random like women would just be in my inbox just because they like Thread's my music, you know what I mean? And like that would also be a thing too, and basically boiled down to like that it would be either, you know, the only way that the relationship was going to work is if I stopped Thread and if I just stopped making music.
Did she give you that ultimatum, if you don't mind me asking?
She definitely didn't, actually. We just kind of like talked, like we did it, we talked about it like civilly, and it was a mutual thing, and like we kind of came to that understanding that was the only way it works. And like and it brings me to the point of where I feel like that it's not too selfish, say if it was your parent or a relationship that you like quit it because of that. It's because I would have, like, she was even the one who like said this too, that if I say I did quit Thread and we like stayed together and like just, you know, kept like the family together and everything like that, and like she even said, she's like, then you're gonna resent me for the rest of your life because of like you wouldn't know, like you wouldn't have been able to like attempt to even achieve your dream. So that's the thing, is like I feel like that it's definitely not selfish, because like if like Jake, you know, didn't cut off his dad and then it just kind of like hindered his success, like he would resent his dad probably for the rest of his life for that. If his dad was a big part of it, like maybe, you know, like
if you feel like you can blame that person,
if you can, even though like they're technically not to blame, because it's like you could always almost do both, but sometimes it's just not. Like, it's actually, maybe you couldn't, you know what I mean? Like, you'd never know. And it's one of those things that like, you're just making the best educated guess that you can. And I like would always support that if like you're trying, because ultimately it's all about you anyways. Because it's like, you're the one who has to live with yourself. Like your dad doesn't have to live with you. Right. Like, you know, so it's like, ultimately like you got to do what's best for you. Like in general, like it doesn't even matter.
And like, dude, also too, like, you know, cause it's different cause he's like family. Right. But like, I also don't like believe like, you know, just because like something's tradition or like something that you know, it's like what you've always done, like those sometimes that shit's just like holding you back. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, say you celebrate Christmas every year and like you're broke as shit, but you just do it, you know, what you're not a good example because I love Christmas, but like, but you just
love good gifts.
but you just keep doing it because like you think you're supposed to do it, like, but it just holds you back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that was such a bad example.
But it does make sense though. It does make sense.
You know,
that, like, yeah, because it's like, you know, why cut it out? You know, it's like it's the same with me with like you know, I've also like, you know, lost a lot of weight in like my journey, and The one thing that I've realized, and even my mom like told me that it's like it just runs in the family that, well, apparently it's her genes because like my dad doesn't have this problem, but like I just can't eat bread. Like I just can't eat bread, and my favorite foods are pasta, pizza, sandwiches.
Blow up.
Literally, like literally, I gained like my last like it wasn't her fault for sure. It was definitely my fault, but I gained a bunch of weight back because I was just like, and it wasn't even crazy. I was just eating like sandwiches, like one sandwich a day, and like you're
getting older now too.
Yeah,
I put on 15 pounds this past year, but I tell my girl it's sympathy weight. I'm working on my dad bod now, but I was like 180. Like I'm not even kidding. Like a year before she was pregnant, I was 185. Now I'm like fucking over 2 bills.
Yeah,
like I've definitely put on some muscle, but I look at myself like, okay, there's some fat there.
Yeah,
there's some dad bod. Like
I feel bad too because I got down to like 200, but also like. I had quit drinking, but I was still doing other stuff. Like I was fucking doing Molly all the time at shows and shit. So like that was playing into like how much weight I lost. But like now it's like healthy.
Yeah. Even like, I'm sure you feel like you get down, like, okay, you get down to like your peak physical form, 200, 185, whatever you at. And then you gain an extra 10 pounds. And you're like, fuck. Dude.